Spending on average 35 hours a week in Cursor, I've learned some good ways of doing things that have 10x my productivity and output. In this video, I'm going to go over the key techniques and workflows that helped me massively level up in Cursor and how you can apply them too. The single most impactful method of coding in Cursor is using the plan and summary files. When you start a new project, create a plan.md file. This is where you will outline the skeleton of the entire project, what the user should be able to do, the core features, the APIs you'll need, and a breakdown of each component. This gives the AI chat a clear roadmap and guardrails to build your project. Once you've got your plan.md file, use it to create a summary.md file. This becomes your detailed to-do list for the entire project. Every time you open a new chat, you feed it these two files, plan.md for the big picture and summary.md for where you are in the process. Then, just work through the steps in the summary.md, and when you finish a task or before opening a new chat, update the file with a short, clear, succinct paragraph on what's done, where you're at, and what's next. Keep this going throughout the whole project. It gives you so much leverage as you can retain 90% of your context free while feeding Cursor the most critical 10% it needs to implement anything effectively. A small bonus tip: when using the AI chat, waiting for it to finish its response can sometimes take 2 to 3 minutes. Very easy to get distracted and even go on my phone during this period. To tackle this, I use a secondary Cursor window, which usually has my front end in it, or any part that I'm not currently working on. And while I'm waiting, I will work on the secondary window so that I don't lose any flow. And then I switch back to the primary window when it's done. Next, when you're implementing features, always use to-do lists. Your main checklist lives in the summary file, but you should also create sub-checklists for individual tasks. Cursor recently added a native to-do list feature that makes this super easy. Just make sure to enable to-do lists in your settings. Then whenever you're working on something more complex than a simple line change, prompt the Cursor chat to use a to-do list. It makes the implementation way more structured and much more reliable. Another really useful feature is the timeline. If you click on the left here, you get a full history of everything that's happened to a specific file. You can revert, restore, manage all types of changes, kind of like version control, but baked right into the editor. It's not something you'll use every day, but the few times you need it, it's an absolute game changer. It's saved me more times than I can count. Another thing to really pay attention to is the context usage. If you're using Claude 4, which you should be, it's by far the best, you've got 128,000 context tokens. It's technically capable of more, but Cursor caps it to save on compute costs. That context gets used up pretty fast, but something that a lot of people don't know is that if you click on these 3 dots here in any chat, it'll show you exactly how much context you've used. Try to manage it actively. You don't always need to max out the full 128k. Once you're around 70 to 90k, it starts getting expensive, and Claude's intelligence will start to degrade. So instead, I just update my summary file and I start a new chat to keep things lean. Another tip, use dictation. It's so much faster, like 2 to 3 times faster. Most people speak at around 120 to 150 words per minute, but only type at 50 to 70 words per minute. That's a massive gap. So anytime that you can use dictation, use it. I also find that I move quicker if I'm speaking, since I'm thinking out loud and I can keep momentum. Lastly, the most useful prompts by far that I use are these. First, this one's for any implementation step. I tend to repeat this prompt quite a number of times in a single chat, as it helps retain Cursor's performance. Next, this prompt really helps with my debugging. Debugging is always a pain because AI hallucinates quite often, but with this prompt, it helps me prevent some of that as it solely relies on the console logs. I hope that was helpful. Have a nice day.